Hey. So, today I've been feeling so much anger. So much anger and so much like annoyance of people. And I've been trying to think about why am I angry? So I have markers in front of me. I think I'm gonna draw while I talk. Maybe it'll help me figure it out because I'm angry about, I want to say assumptions, but I feel like that's wrong because I don't really care what people assume about me. And I don't really think that's fitting to my anger. Nobody's really made an assumption about me necessarily. I feel like it has to do with that. So let's talk it through while I draw. So I talk to people a lot and I'll tell them my ideas or my philosophies or things that are going through my head at the time. Even here, it's I talk on here and people make assumptions in the comments, which I think is funny because how can you know really anything about me except for this one layer that I'm talking about here? And it's one time somebody assumed that I am miserable in my marriage and want to leave my husband and I'm trying to justify it. And I'm I'm not married. So it's that's a strange assumption to make based on whatever I was talking about. So really, that's most likely a projection or an experience that you've had, they've had. But when I'm talking about assumptions now, I'm more so, okay, so I talk to people, I share my thoughts. And those are the people that I'm comfortable with. I am having some kind of intimate moment with, but then that person goes and tells another person, oh, well, Micah believes this, or this is how she feels about this. And I don't think things are that cut and dry, because it's I'm explaining one facet of my belief to you, but that belief stems from experiences that I've been having for 30 some years, So, and then person B, the person being on the other, that I've never met or never told my philosophies to, is oh, well, how can she believe that? Because that's not true. And it's well, and then I'm not there to defend myself. And it makes me super anxious. And I think that's another place that my anger is coming from. It's this anxiety of, now if I ever meet that person, I have to explain myself. I don't like to explain myself out of need, out of necessity, the truths that I live by is always tell the truth. Always tell the truth. That way, even hard truths, no matter what, always tell the truth. That way, I am never put on the spot and needed to explain myself. Because if I'm always telling the truth, there's nothing for me to explain. You either like it, want to hear it, want to be around me, or you don't, So it's and I don't have a problem with that. If you don't like who I am and don't want to be around me, that's fine. That's totally your prerogative. That doesn't bother me at all because, Okay, so then I was like driving home and I was thinking, like, you know, there's a philosophy called solipsism, and I believe I'm saying that right. And it's the philosophy that your mind is the only thing that exists. But, that means like my mind is the only thing that exists in my reality. Your mind's the only thing that exists in your reality. That person's mind is the only thing that exists in their reality. But like, and we're all intermingling energetically, but like we can only know our own mind. I don't really know if this is, now I'm branching off. This might not have anything to do with that philosophy, but it just got me thinking that like when if I'm ever confronted and somebody's like, explain yourself, why do you feel that way? Believe that, why did you make, that conclusion? Like, what I'm going to say, my response is going to be, I believe whatever you believe. Because it saves my energy. I'm not going to sit here and argue about my beliefs to somebody who obviously just wants to provoke and poke holes in my beliefs, because if you're demanding an explanation or, anything from me, then it's because you don't think I'm right. You don't think I'm correct. So, and maybe that's wrong of me to assume. I don't know. Maybe they just want to understand more, but like I doubt it, I feel like mostly people have their own view of things. They just do. That they have their own beliefs, and we're rarely ever going to convince somebody that their belief is wrong. Most likely, if they are going to change their belief, it's going to be because they come to that conclusion on their own and they seek out information to know more about that thing, about that belief. Like, somebody is never just going to be like, oh my God, you know what? You're right. Especially in that moment. Maybe they'll come back to you months later and be like, oh my God, you're so right. But like, it's rarely ever, I shouldn't use such drastic language as always, but it's rarely ever going to happen in that moment where somebody's like, oh my gosh, I absolutely see your point and I'm going to change my belief on this thing. I think it's important to change our beliefs. I think that it's important to come to new conclusions and learn things at a deeper level. But it's going to be on your own time. And I learned this in 2009 when I was watching The Secret, and I was like, oh my God, we can manifest our reality. And everybody in my life was like, you're a fucking nut job. And I'm like, no, really, like, I watched this whole movie. And they're like, yeah, okay, Micah, whatever. Like, you're crazy. And it got to the point where I was like, I should probably stop talking about this because everybody's gonna think I'm crazy. And now in 2025, like every other video you see on YouTube is about how to manifest your reality and the law of attraction, and like it's like so mainstream, it's like been like proven, like it goes like so much deeper and further, and like it's come so far since then. And like what that reality really is, it is like, but now it's just like a common knowledge, whereas back in the day people were hearing me talk about that and they're like, you're a freak. So, you know, people come around eventually. That was a long time ago, you know. I'm not good at math, but 2009 to 2025, that's a long time. So, yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, really. Like, oh, also, I just want to bring up that somebody comments, guys, stop deleting your comments. Like, even if, like, you don't like my response, or you're mad at me, or you hate me, or, you know, somebody left this comment on my feed the other day, and I try to reply to everybody, and they were telling me, like, things that they really thought I had to work on. And my response was kind of like, wow, like, I really appreciate this insight, and I hope that, you know, you'll email me if you have any other insights, because it's kind of hard to, like, go back and forth on the YouTube thread. But I, a few days later, got my journal out and my pen, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go back to that comment, and I'm going to read all the things that they pointed out to me, and I'm going to journal about it, you know, like, what do I need to work on? Like, other people are your mirror, but they see your flaws so much easier than you do. So when it's pointed out to me and I'm like, wow, like, yeah, there's, like, some truth in that, then I want to work through it. Like, I want to figure that out. And they deleted the comment. And so I will never know what I have to work on. And I'm sure people will light me up in this video as well, so go for that. And I'm sure you guys will generously tell me, like, all my flaws. But yeah, like, I was pretty bummed about that. So try not to delete your comments, because I enjoy working on myself. I enjoy knowing more and more about myself. I think that the most important thing is to know thyself. Because if you don't know thyself, like, how can you know other people? How can you understand situations that are happening around you unless you know, like, how you are relating to them, or how they affect you, or what you would do in that situation? Because we can not judge people until we know how we're going to act in that exact scenario. And then, you know, and plus, just the more you know about yourself, the deeper it goes. It's a never ending thing. So I don't like to be surface level. I want to know, like, the depths of it. I want to, like, let's get weird, you know? Let's be weirdos, and let's not care what people think. And yeah, so I guess back to the assumptions, because, like, why do I care what people think? But I think it's not that I care what they think, because I really don't. It's that then I feel like I have to defend myself, and it wastes my energy defending myself. And, like, that's my number one thing, is I don't want to waste my energy. You get one life. You get, you know, at best 100 years to live, and there's so many things that I want to do in this life, and explaining myself to someone is not one of them. Like, I used to be so shy and scared, and I didn't want to be seen, and I didn't want to, you know, upset anybody, and I just, like, I was such a small person, and I was just scared to take up space or have, you know, a strong opinion, and my life was so miserable. People walked all over me, like, and so much of my life was trying to, like, justify myself to other people, and, like, make them try to love me, and, like, ugh, like, just, I wasted so much time. Like, I could have gone to college for all the time I spent just, like, talking to somebody, like, on the phone, just, like, please, like, oh, love me, you know? Like, ew. You should never ask someone to love you, also, because if they don't, let them go. Let them freaking go, because there are people who will love you, and you don't need that sheet. Even if you think, like, no, nobody else will love me. I love you. I love you. And so another person already does love you. And let that shit go. Because more energy, you only have, you know, see my video. It's called An Explanation. Talks about spoon theory. You only have so much energy. And by spending it on the wrong sheet and the wrong people and the wrong scenarios, you are unable to get that energy back to spend on things that matter, things that bring joy and, you know, just light you up and make you feel alive and make you feel good. And in this world that's dying around us, like, we need that. We need to feel creative and joy, and we need to feel inspired and intuitive and just, you know, like our energy is radiating instead of bleeding. You know, there's a big difference between radiating energy, you know, in my head that looks like a glow, to bleeding out, which looks like a, you know, Renaissance painting of a brutal doctor's visit. I don't know. But yeah, so this is a picture of my anger, because I'm gonna wrap this up. Here it is. That's as far as I got, and because I've been chatting, it's hard for me to do two things at one time, but I do like doing it. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'm sure we will discuss in the comments. So ta-ta for now.